D Darrell Life Solutions. I hope everybody is having a good day. Doing a quick impromptu that's going to be about 25 to 30 minutes. Doing another vertical. Don't do a lot of verticals, but I decided to. It's been a while since I've done one, so I decided to just create a quick live stream to kind of just talk about something that's been on my mind lately. As I have navigated through YouTube. And so I'm going to talk about, guys, can you form positive relationships online? And I know people are going to slowly come in. I'm doing the vertical thing right now. I just wanted to do a quick conversation, not a very long conversation, but a quick conversation. I have several other videos that I do plan to create on this channel. There are going to be uploads, and I may do some live streams here or there. So I apologize, guys. I was doing a live stream on complex post-traumatic stress disorder. That got derailed due to some things going on technically and at the clinic. So I was unable to speak in general about that from my professional perspective. But I will come back and I will create new content on that will be uninterrupted. So I want to focus on forming new relationships. Okay? And can you form healthy relationships online? I think that's a question that can have a variety of different responses. Part of me answering this question is based on my experience as a content creator online, in which I have formed a great deal of relationships, good and bad. Some of those relationships are very personal. And so I'm going to answer this question from a long-term perspective. The foundation of these relationships are parasocial related. I've talked about parasocial relationships. I talked about how those relationships can evolve. And in many situations, are these relationships healthy or not? A lot of that has to deal with the genuineness of both parties. And also accompanied by whether or not you have limitations that involve how far you're willing, the relationship you're trying to have with someone. Some people are willing just to have online relationships where we can communicate strictly online, whether you get on a panel or not. I don't want anybody having any communication with me via email, text message, etc. And people create, they create a wall. They create boundaries as far as how close they want people to get to them. Then you have those that don't mind email conversation, those that don't mind text messaging, phone calls. And then you have those relationships in which there's face-to-face contact, whether it's periodical or consistent. But are these relationships healthy? Overall, are most of these relationships healthy? I'm going to speak from the position of my own experience, and also through the known experience of those that I have a relationship with. Because some of these close relationships are not necessarily, they're not healthy. I can question myself whether or not some of the close relationships I am engaged in right now are really healthy. Some of these relationships are close. Some of them are not as close. Some of them are very intimate and personal. But are they healthy? Are these relationships in which you're connected to someone actually causing more harm to you than the benefit? As I look at different events and narratives that go on in different sectors, some of the worst falling out situations relate to people that you thought had your best interests, and they were doxing you, they were storing information, they were disclosing information about you, other people are using it against you. Person was talking behind your back, they were recording you, filming you. They have a plethora of text messages in exchange, and they're waiting on the time to use that against you. In our essence, people who do things like that, who are looking for when you fall out, that is necessarily not, and it gave an opinion, they gave an appearance as a healthy relationship, but their relationship was not as healthy. That person that engages in that is probably not a very mentally healthy person. That the minute you engage with someone and become close with them, you're storing information in anticipation of when y'all fall out. This is what I'm going to do to him. That's not the foundation of true friendships, in which you're anticipating a falling out so that you can get your revenge. On social media, particularly YouTube, there's a 90% chance that a person that you fall out with is anticipating hurting you at some point if things don't go right. They're anticipating a falling out. They're anticipating that either you're going to betray them or they're going to betray you. And they're going to treat you as such. So, most of these relationships, for my estimation, are not very healthy. They're not healthy. Many of them are, but most of them are not. Because most of these relationships involve a separation in which a person basically just betrays you and takes personal information that was only meant for you, and they give it to other people. Come walk with me, guys. I'm outside the building. I'm just taking a small break, and I'm going to go ahead and throw this trash away. I had a salad today, guys, so I'm just chopping it up with you all a little bit before I wrap up the day. I'm pretty much almost done for the day. I'm going to work another hour or so, and then I'm bringing my butt home, and I got some things I need to do at home. I got some errands that I need to run, complete some errands, paperwork and things like that I'm going to do tonight. I got some certain shows I want to watch, and I just want to be chilling tonight and relaxing. I'm going to create some content, and I'm going to be working on some music. But are these relationships healthy? And whether it's healthy or not doesn't necessarily mean how close you are to that person. It means whether or not this friendship or this pseudo relationship, is it beneficial to you? And is the person that you're interacting with having your best interest for the fact that they want to be your friend, or do they have your interest because they want to use you for content? And see, I'm going to admit, I've overexposed myself on YouTube. I definitely overexposed myself. It's not necessarily that I have a lot of friends and things like that, because really, I communicate with far less people than I used to. There was a time that I had a great deal of people that I communicated with, and I allowed them to communicate communicate with me very openly, almost too much. Too much exposure is not good. And some of those people I had no boundaries as relates to how we communicate. They could talk to me anytime that they wanted to, within reason. And so it wasn't until probably 2023 that I began to show some discernment as it involves who has contact with me or not. So, but what's up, Conscious Energy? How you doing, player? But many of these relationships are not healthy. Doesn't matter whether or not they support you or not. Doesn't matter whether or not they got your quote unquote back online, because that means nothing if offline or in other ways they're trying to hurt you. Are they anticipating your next move? Conscience, you say definitely a kerfuffle. So there's a lot of fakeness going on because you don't really know people. You never met these people, and you're only going by what you um, see online, which is not truly indicative of who a person may be in real life. Okay, so but yeah, I'm basically getting mail, doing things. So I'm getting ready to go to my office, and then we'll chat more. Shout out to Conscious Energy. Okay, so guys, I'm in the office here, and so we're looking at things, guys, and so my position is, you say what? Hit that like button for the Godfather. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. So again, guys, I'm looking at this situation, and you know, are these relationships necessarily healthy? And I question how healthy any of these relationships are. And I would not advise people to overly expose yourself to people online. Um, I overexposed myself at one time, and then I reduced that greatly reduced that. I talk to a lot of people offline, um, particularly in 21, 22. From 21 to 20, really 2020 is when it started. Because really 19, when I first, I started communicating with people. Really, I didn't really start having real communication till like 18 with very few, but 19, it kind of slow. But around COVID, it increased a lot, email and phone calls. And then um, 2021, it was a lot. 2022 was a lot. And then 2023, it was still kind of a lot, but I began to reduce situations. And so that's just, and I just felt like that's is not a good idea for me to be interacting with people. And you notice the people who get into the most situations are people who expose themselves to other people who talk to everybody, people who exchange information, people who pushing things, people who want mess, people who want confusion. Um, yeah, we don't, that's not, the kind of people you want to be around. And so the fact of the matter is that most of these people you will never meet and really know who they really are in real life. Even the ones that you meet in person. You're not, unless you're consistently, they're in your city and you consistently see them on a monthly basis or something. You really don't really know who you're interacting with to a certain extent. And then the overexposure opens the door for people to come at you in certain ways to hurt you and harm you, embarrass you. Something doesn't go right. I've seen this stuff happen so many times where the worst feuds were those in which people actually knew each other and communicated. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. And we see this in all types of sectors where people who met each other, who interacted with each other, they're the worst of the worst when something goes wrong. Let's check out my iPad here. Let me see what's going on. You know, they're the worst. So just be very careful, man. Just be very careful. That's really what I'm getting at. Please be careful of who you talk to, who you interact with. These people are recording conversations, telling you information, personal information to other people, betraying you, disclosing information that was only meant for you. And I'm at the point for me that whatever I tell you, I don't even care if you tell somebody else, because I've come on an impression that if I'm disclosing something to you, I understand potentially that you may tell somebody. It's like the whole trust level of trusting someone. It has diminished for me. Greatly diminished. Greatly diminished to the point where it greatly diminished. It has greatly diminished to the point of I'm not going to fill myself with anxiety about when I talk to people, worried about whether they're going to tell somebody. Like, and I really don't care to a big extent, but whether you care or not, it still hits you when people will say some things that you know only that person will know, and then somebody else try to use it against you, or somebody try to say things to upset you and trigger you. And so I learn to become apathetic about it. And for myself personally, I haven't had that happen to me with a lot of people. I've had few people that have done that type of thing to me. Just a few. What's up, B Moore? How you doing, man? Appreciate you for coming in. Just a few. But it happens. And I take responsibility on my part because I chose to trust someone to say things. You know? I chose to divulge information. And that's just how it is. You know, I chose to do that. You know, and you know, I look in the mirror at myself first. And in any situation, I have to look at self-blame. Because at any time I make a decision whether or not this person is worthy of my time and my interaction, to be in my space. And so I'm not going to cry about it. I'm not going to, in any way, shape, or form, want to demean anybody. Like some things, you can get triggered, man. You can get so mad and triggered. And I've been there. But all these relationships, can you form healthy relationships online? And you can. The reality is that you can, but the likelihood that you're going to have everybody that you talk to is healthy, is a healthy relationship, because a lot of these relationships are bullshit. They really are. They're full of negative things that involve sectors that indulge in negative interaction. A lot of these relationships are fake. They're phony. A lot of these relationships are faked on money, what they can get out of you and use you. A lot of these relationships are based on people just seeing you merely as a content creator and not a person. A lot of it's for clout. If they become romantic, they're looking at you for not necessarily who you are as a person, but as what they believe you to be based on your online persona, and they have a difficult time differentiating between the two. That's just facts. So, that's the reality of it. And I've come to terms with that and realized it. And you have to be careful who you talk to, when you talk to them, who they're connected to, things of that sort. I mean, one time I didn't care. I'm gonna be honest. When I first began, like talking to people, I would have never envisioned that people being that you're befriending or be an enemy, be your worst enemy. It'll be your biggest liability. I slowly, steadily, and many situations, most of the situations, I very rarely ask for the info to contact people that I engaged in offline. Very rarely. There are very few people that I said, hey, now what I would offer was really most of the time was email. Email was usually my best point of contact and was my only contact. And then for some people, the phone calls was merely to let me know whether or not they're going live. They want me to participate in a show, things like that. I didn't really start having a lot of consistent phone calls as far as conversations until I entered into a particular sector or started that sector. What's up? What's up, the Queen? Before you reacts, how are you doing? Good to see you up in here. Good to see you here. So, when I was in the manosphere, when I first started doing content before I was in the Umar sector, I probably had contact with maybe 3 people, and only one of those persons. No, we're actually about four people actually, and two of those people I would talk to consistently. The others I wouldn't. Just strictly email. A lot of what I was doing was strictly email. It was strictly email. And there was only 2 other people that I would text and every now and then talk. And and everything, it was all online related. It wasn't until I started the Umar sector that I began having those conversations. In emails and conversations. None of those interactions is what I considered close people that were close to me. Even though
One particular person, I actually met her at an ADOS event, and she was the closest. And I talked to her all the time, and she was one of my day ones. And so we had a very positive relationship. And she lost interest in my content once I started doing the Umar stuff. But she still would keep in contact with me. And so it was all business orientated. And then it became, the personal stuff, day-to-day stuff, variety of topics, just getting to know each other. I got my friend BMT. I started, him and others, man. I just start, slowly other people that I would talk about a lot of different things, a lot of different real things, family stuff. And then before you know it, man, I had at least um 8 to 10 people that I would talk to at any given moment. Some more than others. But the online interaction was, in most situations, was the focal point. And some of those relationships were healthy, and some of them were not. When I'm talking about an unhealthy relationship, it could be somebody that you're cool with that's constantly carrying bones and giving you information of other people to trigger you to do content and trigger you to say and do things. That is not a healthy relationship. I'm talking about people that would, try to convince you to do things that you know are not in your best interest. You know, um, the same thing. Like these are not healthy relationships. Fill this paper up. Give me 1 second. You can fill the paper. Let me get some paper. Uh, See if I got some more cream paper. Our relationships are not healthy relationships. There are people who are literally in dysfunctional ass online relationships. Dysfunctional as hell. Those relationships are dysfunctional. And they don't care. They're just going to be in a dysfunctional relationship. Some of these dysfunctional relationships are indicative of the relationships they have with people in real life. But that's what they're into. That's what they like. That's all they know. And they can't grow from it. Give me a second. Let me put. Okay, so I'm talking to staff, but yeah, but for me, I don't mean anybody harm. I'm just gonna be honest. My whole existence online is not to mean anybody any harm at all. Um, if you find me highly enough as a person to communicate with, I will reciprocate, and I will not do anything to disparage you or to get back at you or to cause you. If talking to you, talking to anybody involves me stabbing you in the back, that's a person I shouldn't be talking to. You're not. I'm not like if I have to do all of that, and I don't talk to people offline for just the mere purposes of doing content. No, no. And there are people that they call me from time to time. Hold on 1 second, guys. Give me a second. Give me a second. Hold on 1 second. Yes. 3:45 we start. Yeah. Hey. All right, so I'm back. So I got my glasses on now. I'm back. I just had my little lunch break and everything. So I'm took my shades off. Now I'm back. I'm just doing some paperwork. I'm talking to people. Uh, I see my clients are getting ready to leave to go home in about 10 minutes. Um, and so yeah, like it's no reason to talk to people that you in fear that they are going to turn their back on you. Like I would rather not have those conversations. Um, Everybody does not deserve access to you. Um, it's very few people that I've actually turned down to talk to me personally. Everybody that has reached out to talk to me were people that I highly liked and had a great deal of respect for and interaction with. Uh, Very few people that I've literally was like, nah, I don't want to talk. But I have turned down certain people. Like we just can talk by text message or not text message, but just talk via YouTube or via email. Now, as far as email, I don't mind people having access to my email, but there were people that, as far as when it went to the phone call level, I denied. Most people I didn't. But most of the people that have access to me, as far as on that level, it's not a daily conversation by any means. It's mainly a monthly, bi-weekly, per live stream type of ordeal where you call me based on online issues that are going on and you ask for my opinion. It's all content related, and I just kept it like that. So, but guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I didn't want to. I didn't mean to necessarily be here for a great deal of time. I just wanted to chop it up about, just ask the question: can you form healthy relationships? And the reality is that you can. You can form, depending on how selective you are. But meaning those relationships, if you're a person that has opened yourself up to a lot of people, a lot of those relationships are not going to be healthy. They're not. A lot of them, even if you think they're good, that doesn't mean they're necessarily healthy. They can be very toxic relationships that you got yourself involved in. And that's just the facts. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, guys. I have had some clients to see today, but I'm doing paperwork. Got to get out of here. Probably leave here in about an hour. And then I'm going to start doing some things at home. And I got some things that I got to take care of. And I just want to chill tonight. Busy week for me. A lot of research, a lot of paperwork, administrative things. And that's basically it, guys. Talk to you later. Have a great day.